What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a banger of a video. This is a true classic hoot and a holler. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Drop a like if you do. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and also make sure to head over to my Twitch at GBLN420 and tune into the live streams, man. Listen, we smoke, we game, we're chilling, and we stream almost every day. So make sure to head over to the Twitch, pull up, don't miss the streams, and also we are having 20% off at goblin420.com right now using code GOBLIN at checkout. Any order of any size gets 20% off. Just head over there, throw some items in your cart, and place your order with code GOBLIN. Even if it's a $1 order, you will still get 20% off. Head over to goblin420.com, and if you place your order, a couple lucky people are going to get a personalized voice message from me, a personalized thank you, if you will, in your email. So make sure to keep an eye on the email that you make your purchase with. But without further ado, let's dive right into the video. So this took place back in my junior year of high school, way back in the day of 2016, which feels so recent, but that was almost 7 years ago now, dude. But back in these days, I was up to no good. And the incident that we're talking about today is something that I thought that I had previously made a video on. However, one of you guys actually brought it up on the Goblin subreddit and mentioned that I had not made a video on this. So big shout out to whoever that is. I'm going to throw the screenshot on screen because I don't really remember the name off top, but you guys owe them a thanks too for making this video a reality, because I could have sworn I made a video about this, but I realized the only time that I told this particular story was in the Ashton tribute video. I never actually made a standalone video, and this is an incident that is 100% worthy of its own video. So this took place, like I mentioned earlier, back in my junior year of high school, and I had, at this point in my life, been dabbling in some very new drugs. In particular, I had recently gotten into acid. Psychedelics were very new to me. This was maybe a couple months into my second semester of my junior year of high school, and I had made a lot of new friends through my drug use. One of those friends was my good friend Ashton, ended up becoming one of my closest friends, someone I considered my best friend at the time, the homie. Him and I became pretty close, but this was very early on in our friendship. This was, in fact, I think it was one of the first times that we'd actually hung out together, like maybe first like 5 or 10 times. So we definitely weren't that tight at this point. But on this particular day, things started out like they normally did between us, where we would already be discussing at school our plans for the evening, and we already knew ahead of time that we were definitely going to drop some acid later in the day, you know? So the plans were set in motion. Now, once we had gotten out of school, you know, I went back home, Ashton went back home, and I chilled for a little bit, freshened up after school, and I hopped in the car and went to pick up Ashton. Now, on the way to Ashton's, I also hit up my friend Kyle, and Kyle said that he was down to link up as well. So after getting to Ashton's house, we looped back and picked up Kyle as well. Now, we had already intended on tripping this night. However, we never really had any concrete plans, you know? We weren't super fond on spending money on anything that wasn't drugs, so that eliminated most outings, and we didn't really feel like going and sitting in a park or going through a forest preserve because, I don't know, dude, we just weren't those kind of guys. You know, sometimes it's nice to do on acid, but for some reason we didn't want to do that. We would rather just kick it and like chat, you know, just vibe out. We could be anywhere as long as we were just tripping and the squad was together, everything was well. So we had linked up and we had picked everybody up, and Ashton had brought out his tabs with him. Now, at this point, I was our designated driver. However, I use designated as a very loose term because, you know, I definitely made some poor driving decisions when I was younger. I probably drove when I shouldn't have quite often. We'll leave it at that so I don't get arrested. So we had gone and parked up at one of our favorite spots to smoke. This place was nicknamed The Box. Now, I don't think this is really a spot anymore. You know, when I drive past this area, I never see anyone there. You know, I haven't seen anyone there for years. But back in the day, this was the spot. The Box was essentially this little parking lot sandwiched in between a couple like apartment/townhouse buildings, but it was also blocked off by a fence. You know, there was a fence between the main road and this parking lot. So it was a very secluded area where you could commit many questionable acts. I can't even count how many fights and drug deals I've witnessed at this particular parking lot. And for some reason, there was always a forklift there. No, actually, it wasn't a forklift. It was like a scooper thing, but it kind of looked like a forklift. I'm not in construction. I don't know the words for this. Where are my manual laborers at, dude? I'm not one of those guys. I'm a weakling, dude. Let me know what that machine is in the comments. But either way, we parked up at the box, and Kyle and I started rolling up a blunt. And Ashton was not able to smoke. He was on probation for pretty much the entire time I knew him. Funny enough, for stealing a car when he was a freshman. So this guy was not supposed to be driving anybody's vehicle anytime soon. We're chilling out and we spark up, me and Kyle, we smoke, and Ashton is ripping his synthetics. This man would bust out the craziest research chemicals that I've never heard of. I'm pretty sure I smoked synthetic heroin with this guy one time and I just didn't know it. It's kind of fucked that he didn't tell me, but maybe he didn't know it either. I don't know, dude. But either way, this guy was always busting out the most insane, random, darkest pits of the internet drugs, right? Because he wasn't able to smoke due to his drug testing. He was always able to get away with doing any other drug under the sun. I mean, this guy would do coke, this guy would drop the psychs, whatever it was, pills, he was down, but the weed stayed in his system a little too long. So while Kyle and I are smoking this blunt, Ashton's back here sparking up some fucking random mystery powder off the tinfoil. This guy literally would tote around like tinfoil in a straw with him and just get to it, dude. It was really insane. Thinking about that, looking back at it, dude, we were like 16-year-old kids, 17-year-old kids smoking mystery powders off of tinfoil. Like, damn, dude, we were some degens. And I'm not saying he was the only one who smoked it. No, I hit a lot of these synthetics with him. Just not yet. Not at this point in the evening. I did later, though, but we'll get to that. So as we're parked up and we're all smoking up, we decide that it's time to drop our tabs. We didn't have any plans yet, but that was never something that stopped us. We would figure out the plans. The acid would guide us, So we dropped our tabs down the hatch. Now, this wasn't a crazy dosage or anything. If I remember correctly, I think I only dropped one tab to get going, which, to be fair, I was early on in my acid endeavors, so one tab was more than enough for me. But also, I was tripping really frequently early on in my acid use. There was something weird that just flicked in my brain where the moment I tried acid, I loved it. I was like, this is it, man. I love how this makes me feel. I love how much energy I have the next day. I love it, So I was in this phase in my life, pretty much the whole second semester of high school, where I was just eating any psychedelic, not shrooms. I wasn't crazy on shrooms, but like acid, Molly, feed it to me, dude. Give it to me through an IV, liquid LSD, pump it through me. I'm down, I was really with it. But at this point, I was still early on enough where one tab was more than enough. So I pop my tab, Kyle pops his, and Ashton pops his. We're all chilling out, and we finish smoking, and we're just hanging out at the box for a little bit, kind of shooting the shit, The box was a place where you could just sit there and get out of your car and hang out, and you'd probably spot somebody eventually, Not every time, but chances are you'd spot somebody you knew. So we're chilling out, and we get these tabs down the hatch, and I'd say maybe an hour went by where we were just chatting it up in the car, shooting the shit, having some fun, and I started feeling this tab. I was feeling good. Now, we had a system in place whenever we would trip together and we didn't have anywhere to go to hang out. Ashton was usually the designated driver. This was early on in our friendship, and this was one of the first times that I let him drive my car, but it became a thing even after this incident, which I don't know why. I guess he was just willing to drive and we weren't, so fuck it. The problem with that was that Ashton was off more drugs than anyone else there. However, because he appeared the most sober, because this man's tolerance was insane, we were just okay with it. We were like, fuck it, dude. In retrospect, this man was probably out of his mind off like 5 different drugs, just whipping the Honda, just fuck it, But hey, I appreciate that he offered to contribute by driving, and back then, we were very open to it. Nowadays, I don't think I would let him drive my car off those drugs, but hey, more than welcome back then. So we decided that he was going to be the driver for the evening. He volunteered to do it. He seemed eager to do it. And he even mentioned, he was like, yeah, I like driving for you because I don't get to drive very much. I mean, he doesn't have a car. He doesn't have a license. No shit. He stole a car, so he's obviously not going to have an L's. But he was amped up about being able to drive. So we switch seats, he hops in drivers, and now we're just sitting there. I'm like, why the fuck did we even switch, dude? We're not going anywhere, So we decided it's time to go somewhere, We're starting to come up, we're starting to feel the tabs. I'm pretty sure Ashton was already tripping before he linked up with us. He was like always tripping. You couldn't really tell unless you asked him, That's just how he was. But either way, he was probably already tripping before, but it was starting to hit me and Kyle. So we wanted to go do some shit. I was feeling real nice, I was feeling wonderful. I remember the vibes were flowing, and, it was getting a little late out at this point. It was dark out now. However, it was beautiful outside still. Even the street lights just had this glow to them, where as I was looking out the car window, I was just like, the way they were reflecting off the beautiful construction machinery next to me. I was just in awe, So we decided that we should go grab some pizza, None of us had ate any dinner. We were kind of hungry. We had some munchies. We were like, fuck it. Let's go grab some pizza. Now, I know a lot of people say that they can't eat off acid. I personally have not really had a problem with that unless I'm having a super fucking intense trip. If I'm just off like one tab, or maybe I've parachuted 2 tabs, I'm usually fine with eating. I don't really have an issue with it. Sometimes I'll even get hungry while I'm tripping, Which a lot of people say that doesn't happen to them. I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm just built different. I don't know what to tell you. So we head over to this pizza joint nearby, this place called Jet's Pizza. Now, Jet's, if you're a Midwesterner, specifically in Michigan, you definitely know what Jet's is, but it's like a Detroit-style pizza place. The only good thing they make is the 8-corner pizza. The thin crust can go fuck itself. Everything else they make sucks, but the 8-corner, the 8-corner is elite, brother. The 8-corner is that guy, dude. It is head and shoulders above the local competition, outside of like the deep dish places. But this is not really deep dish, I feel. I think 8-corner is different than deep dish. There's not as much sauce, It's more a focus on the bread and the cheese. I don't know. Either way, we're getting into pizza politics here. So we cruise over to Jet's Pizza, and we get in there, and we walk inside and place our order. Everything's completely normal. Now, I remember as I walked inside, the acid really hit me when I got in there. I don't know if it's because this place is brighter than a fucking surgeon's room or what the deal is, but this, it is lit up in Jets, brother. You can see a Jets like a beacon from miles away. The light just emanating from inside, I mean, to be fair, this Jets location has fallen off, so most of those lights are probably out now or like very dim, but back in the day, they still kept up with it. So we place our order, and I'm chilling in there, and I remember just staring at the tiles. They had this very weird setup in there where the floors were tile, but like half of the walls were too. And I was just amazed because the tiles, it looked like the cracks in between them, the little filling, it almost looked like they had these little moving specks in them, like there was glitter inside of the tile. And I remember the whole time I was just sitting there staring at all of the different tile in this pizza joint like, damn, this is beautiful. They really put a lot of effort into building this pizza place out, dude. Like, I want to dap up the manager right now. This place is gorgeous, but obviously I kept those thoughts to myself. So we're chilling in the pizza joint, just hanging out, waiting for our food, and it was ready pretty quickly, It was like, honestly, kind of concerningly quickly for an 8-corner, like, pretty thick crust pizza. I mean, we were in and out of that bitch in like, what, 10 minutes, maybe 15? I don't know, not very long, but either way, we grab our food and we head back out. And on our way out, we notice parked behind us, there is this really, really nice Mercedes. I remember vividly, it was an S-Class. It was this black S-Class. It looked really new. Like, this thing was glistening, dude. There was no dirt on it. And we were checking it out like, damn, dude, that is sick, Listen, it looked like it literally just came fresh off the lot. Like, this guy left Mercedes and had to stop and get some pizza on his way home. So we hop back in the car, and mind you, the car I was driving at this point was my mom's car. This was not my car, right? I had fucked my own shit up, so I was borrowing my mom's car at this point, the little Honda CR-V. So we hop in the CR-V, Ashton's driving, I'm in shotgun, Kyle's in back. He turns the car on, backs out, and nails this S-Class. And I'm not talking like a light bump. Like, I'm talking he backed into it in a way where I was like, bro, this car might not drive. No, actually, okay, maybe not that bad, but it was like a real fucking shock, dude. I mean, we all kind of launched forward in our seats a little bit, dude. It was definitely not a soft impact. Surprisingly, my car took it pretty well. So when he backs into it, we all just kind of freeze, dude. I mean, he looks over at me and he's like, oh, fuck, dude. And I'm sitting there and I'm also like, oh, fuck. But at the same time, I'm tripping, so I'm kind of having fun. I'm not really processing the severity of what we just did. So I'm like, I tell him, fuck it, dude, just go. Just fucking go. When he's sitting there, he's like, are you sure, bro? Like, Ashton's kind of freaking out. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, dude, just fucking go, bro. Like, get out of here. What are we going to do? I don't have money for this. Like, get the fuck out of here. My mom's going to kill me. Let's go, you know? So we skedaddle, bro. Ashton floors it out of this parking lot. Nearly crashed again on his way out. I remember this guy went off-road. Like, he literally drove up on the curb, damn near hit a sign on our way out of this parking lot. We dip out of this pizza joint parking lot. We cut around the back, and we're going through these little back roads behind the pizza place. And if you go far enough back on these roads, you get to a school, right? So we get to this school area, and there's this big parking lot behind the school, and we're like, fuck it, dude, just gun it down there, go park up at the back of the parking lot, and let's just chill for a minute, you know? Like, let's just relax and figure out what's going on. We have pizza, too, you know? So, I mean, I understand that was a critical situation, but, like, we got za, all right? We're good to go. So Ashton's fucking whipping it, dude. This guy's going, like, 45 or 50 down these back roads, dude. And we get to this parking lot, and it's dead as fuck. There's, like, 2 other cars there, and they seem to be abandoned. I mean, I don't know. There's no one nearby. So we get to this parking lot, and we post up, and we're chilling. And I just go straight for the pizza, bro. I kind of forgot we even hit somebody's car, bro. I just went straight for the pizza. Ashton was more concerned about it than I was. He threw that bitch in park and hopped out. I'm sitting there busting open the box. I'm like, hey, boys, we got some fucking pizza, man. And I realized Ashton was outside of the car, and I was like, oh, yeah, dude, we did hit an S-Class. So I hop out and I go look around back, and Ashton's already back there. And luckily, it was not that bad. The way the CRV was kind of set up is it had this bottom half of the bumper that was black, and it wasn't like a nice kind of paint or anything. It was like almost like a plastic material. That was really the only part that took damage. Like, there was some scratches on the paint a bit above where we hit, but the vast majority of the damage was on that bottom, like, plasticky part of the bumper. So I'm looking, and Ashton's like just profusely apologizing. I mean, he couldn't believe it. This guy was apologizing to me for like 2 weeks straight after this. And I'm telling him, I'm like, bro, you know, don't worry about it. It's all good. I mean, fuck it, man. Realistically, I'm more fucked up than you are, I feel like. So I probably would have hit the car a little harder, you know? Like, I mean, we're good, man. It's all good. And he's just freaking out. So I'm trying to calm him down. I'm like, hey, why don't you come smoke off that tinfoil, brother? Let's take a deep breath. So we all get back in the car. We got our pizza, and Ashton busts out the synthetics like immediately, dude. This guy's chiefing. He was taking some stress rips, dude. It's like when someone just gets laid off from their job and you see him like outside the headquarters chain smoking cigarettes, you know, like the Twitter layoffs. That's how he was doing it, bro. This guy was chain smoking the synthetics, dude, the mystery powder. Me and Kyle, on the other hand, are just chilling out, enjoying some pizza. You know, this guy Ashton hadn't even ate yet. We're chilling out, feasting, brother. I mean, the vibes are on. Honestly, I think kind of some of the adrenaline from that moment took away from the acid trip a little bit, because after that, I didn't really trip that hard, you know? It was a much more chill experience. Like, yeah, I definitely felt it mentally and emotionally, but the visuals weren't there nearly as much, you know? I think rear-ending a very expensive car really smacked some sense into me, dude. It really just sucked the LSD straight out of my system, because I was fully alert after that. So we're chilling out for a little bit, and we finish up our little smoke and pizza sesh, and now we're sitting there like, well, what the fuck do we do? You know, like, what should we do? So I suggest that we go try to fix it. I'm like, yo, let's just fucking go to Walmart, you know, and try to fix it. So we cruise over to Walmart. Ashton's driving like a grandmother, dude. This guy does not want to hit anything else. We're going like 10 under at all times, which, I mean, to be fair, hey, I appreciate it, you know? So we get to the Walmart. And we park up, we hop out, we go inside, and we had no plan of action. There was absolutely no scheme of like how we're fixing this car. It was just figure it out, just walk in and find some resources. This was something I had to do before, though. I mean, I'd had to paint over paint chips on my bumper before, on different cars that I'd driven. The car that I'd driven personally before I ended up having to drive my mom's car was this little Honda Accord. It was this old little Honda Accord, but I loved it. I called it the house. I lived in it for like a week. It was a beast. You OG viewers probably heard many stories that took place in that car, but I had also had to do a lot of DIY repairs on that one. So I was versed in this field. So we're in the Walmart and we're looking around, and obviously we're not buying shit. We're not paying for this shit, okay? This was our high school days, okay? I'm not paying for anything but the drugs and the pizza, brother. But we get our goods out of this Walmart. We grab like duct tape, and I'm pretty sure we even grabbed spray paint at one point. And we just dipped out, bro. Listen, Walmart security was not that elite yet. Nowadays, them boys are on point, dude. But this was like 2016. Their security was not super hip yet. I mean, I feel like they were starting to step it up, but only if you were in like a big city, Nowadays, all the locations are decked out, brother. I mean, them security guards are built like fucking Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, brother. I mean, them boys are jacked, my man. But these days, it was much easier. We literally just grabbed this shit, threw it in our pockets, and dipped out. Ashton threw the spray paint in his hoodie pocket, fucking skedaddled. So we go back out to the parking lot, and we realize pretty quickly that the duct tape's not going to do a ton because there's an inward dent. Now, nowadays, I'm very hip to the whole plunger trick and how to do that, but back in these days, I didn't really have to, I hadn't driven for very long even, so I didn't know about that part. So I'm sitting there like, damn, bro, we got a dent, man. I never even contemplated pushing it back out. I'm just like, fuck it, We bought all these supplies, and I just told him, like, fuck it, man. Just leave it in the car. I'll do it myself later. So that's what we did. We chilled out for a little longer, and we kind of split off after this. I dropped everyone off and ended up going home myself, because I had, like, this shit really sobered me up. I mean, by the time we left Walmart, it had been a little while. A decent bit of time had elapsed, and I was definitely, like, still lightly tripping. And should I have driven? Definitely not. But I was an irresponsible kid, and I was stupid. So don't follow in my footsteps, all right? But I ended up dropping off the homies. I dropped off Ashton first, and then I dropped off Kyle because he lived super close to me. And then I cruised back to my house, and my mom didn't notice it immediately. She didn't notice it for a little while, actually. And at that point, I had almost forgotten it happened until she started chewing my ass out for the damage. And I was like, oh, fuck, man. Hey, I don't even remember what I told her, honestly. I don't know what the fuck I said to her, but she wasn't happy either way. She started letting me use the car a lot less, dude. We still got around. Don't stress. But either way, hey, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to drop a like if you did, and also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure to head over to goblin420.com and enter code GOBLIN at checkout to get 20% off any order of any size. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, gamers.